Good afternoon, Facebook family and friends and YouTube subscribers. Today is Tuesday. It is August the 19th, 2014. I wanted to talk very quickly about Officer Darren Wilson. Darren Wilson, the Ferguson, Missouri police officer who shot and killed 18-year-old Michael Brown. He has been with the police force for 6 years. 2 years in the nearby city of Jennings and 4 years in the city of Ferguson Police Department. He had no prior disciplinary record and was placed on paid administrative leave after the shooting. They described him as a gentle, quiet man, a distinguished officer. He had been with the force all these years, never had a problem. Public records show Wilson was divorced last year in St. Charles County after 2 years of marriage. So he's divorced. And they have, looks like 2 children. So, the question of the year that everybody probably wants to know, should Officer Darren Wilson be charged with the murder or manslaughter of Michael Brown? Let's think about that for a second. Let's say that Michael Brown, we don't know this, but let's just say that he attacked that police officer who was sitting in that car. And that, unfortunately, this fight went on for maybe less than a minute, or a few minutes, who knows. And Michael Brown ran away and was running away when Officer Wilson shot him. Right, so let's just think about that for a second, if that is the case. So, if that is the case, if there was a struggle and a fight that ensued, and he got into a fight with that officer, but the man ran, Michael Brown ran away, and the officer shot at him from a distance, I don't know how far. And then they say Michael Brown turned around with his hands up in the air, and then he shot him, and then shot him again as he was going down, which ended up shooting him in the top of his head. If this is accurate, everything that we're hearing and seeing from the eyewitnesses, from the autopsy report, from the medical examiner's report, if everything is accurate, what we're saying, what we're seeing, what took place, then that officer crossed the line. Even if Michael Brown did attack him, let's say he did, we don't know. At least they haven't determined that to be the case. When Michael Brown ran away, that officer and when he turned around and put his hands up to say that he wanted to stop, I give up, or whatever he said, Michael Brown, that officer should have radioed for help, for backup, waited till the police arrived, and then arrested that young man. And Michael Brown would be alive today. So the question, I think, based upon everything we've seen thus far, is that officer did something wrong. Now, we don't know if Michael Brown attacked that police officer. We don't know. We're hearing conflicting stories. Some people say he did, some people say he did not. The officer says he attacked him. But we do know there was a struggle inside the police car. How all this came to be, we don't know yet. But when that Michael Brown ran away, this is why these officers have to be trained. I think that officer was angry. Because if this is true that Michael Brown attacked that officer may have been angry and took it upon himself to choose Michael Brown's final judgment for attacking him. And that was not right. Even if Michael Brown was dead wrong for attacking that police officer for whatever reasons or fight, that police officer should never have shot that man dead the way he did. And he should be charged with some type of crime. Now, let's go back to that scenario, because see, this is going to go on for a while. Let's say that Michael Brown did attack that police officer. Let's say they do charge this police officer. I think that we're going to have a hard time getting conviction against that police officer if Michael Brown did attack at that police officer. If he did attack that police officer, I think it's going to be very, very difficult for any prosecutor to get a conviction, federal, state, because people are going to be looking at this attack if it did happen. I have to keep saying this because we don't know what took place. But we do know there was a struggle inside the police car, and there was a shot fired from inside the police car. They actually struck the vehicle, from what I've read, and a couple of different things. I mean, I've read so much information, I'm like, oh, so every day is something new. There's a lot of confusion. But I think it all boils down to what took place between Michael Brown and that officer. And that's going to determine where this goes. So all the screaming, ranting, and raving, and getting all upset, I can understand that people are very angry out there. Those protesters are pissed. People say the police have been abusing people. It's a possibility. I believe there are police officers who I do believe there are plenty of police officers who step over the lines and do police brutality. I mean, it happens every day. We all know that. Nobody's saying it doesn't happen. But when we look at this scenario between the officer and Michael Brown, we just have to see how could it escalate so quickly that it ended in Michael Brown's death, an unarmed man. Why were they fighting? Why were they arguing? What took place between the two of them? And what was Michael Brown's demeanor that day? What was the police officer's demeanor that he may have been having a rough day? We don't know. But ultimately, that officer, based upon what we do know, too many witnesses are saying that Michael Brown's hands were in the air. Some people say that he was, recently, this came out today, that somebody said he was running away from the police officer or running towards the police officer. I've heard so many different scenarios, but he didn't have a weapon. He didn't have anything in his hand. He did not have a gun. The officer had a gun, and he used that gun to kill that man. And it may not be right. And it isn't right. So now we have to find out. Something's going to have to give. And whether or not this man should be charged with murder or manslaughter, choose whichever one you want. And then we have to decide, let it go to a jury and let them decide what took place. It would have been nice if there was some type of video. They need to, from now on, put video in all those police cars and on each officer. And then you know what was going on. We'd see the whole thing, but we don't have video. So we have to go by eyewitnesses and people who saw the events that took place. And, we get all these different opinions. Like I said, I've seen stuff all over the place. But it seems to be pretty consistent that the officer shot Michael Brown. He was about 10 to 15 feet or 20 feet away. It was not a close shooting. And then they say Michael Brown's hands were in the air and he was giving up. So, yeah, I think the officer needs to be arrested and charged with either murder or manslaughter. I think that's the only way this issue will be resolved, is in a court of law. Anyway, that's just my opinion. So if you like my videos, please click like. I'm on my way out of here to the gym. You guys have a great Tuesday. I'd love to read your opinions and hear your thoughts on what you think should happen with this police officer. And I'm out of here.